You are watching Access LaPorte County, Channel 97. Coming up next is the October 21st, 2024 meeting of the Michigan City Board of Public Works and Safety. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
All right, it's 4 o'clock, so let's get started. I'll call to order the Board of Public Works and Safety for Monday, October 21st, 2024. First business is to call the roll. Mr. Simmons is absent. Ms. Tisdale?
Present.
Ms. Smith?
Present.
Ms. Moore?
Present.
Mr. York is present. Attorney LePage Stallbrink?
Present.
You are ready to go. Our first order of business today is approval of minutes for a regular hybrid Zoom meeting from October 7th, 2024. Any motions or changes to that?
Motion to approve. Support.
I'll call for the vote. Ms. Tisdale?
Aye.
Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Ms. Moore?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Our next order of business is approval of quotes. Daryl Garbacek, Superintendent of Central Services, is requesting to revoke the award of the kennel building quote to Universal Restoration for not providing the necessary proof of COI, Certificate of Insurance, and award the project to JB West Construction in the amount of $7,200. Daryl, are you there? I see you there. The floor is yours.
I am, and I cannot add anything that needs to be added to what you just read, and that's exactly what we're asking for. And we'll be...
I'm sorry, Daryl. Keep going.
Nope, that's it.
Any questions of Mr. Garbacek? Is everything in order, Attorney LePage, with the new JB West construction documents?
Yes, it is. And the other company has notified us that they do not have time to submit the insurance and that they know they're not going to get the award.
Okay. I will, at this time, Daryl, if they don't have any questions for you, I'll open it up for public comment. Any public comment on this? Okay, going once. Public comment, going twice. I'll close public comment. Any other questions from the board for Daryl?
No, Daryl, I'm sorry. Skylar, Tamiko. Daryl, this is just reapproving what you had previously approved through another company. Same amount, same work, all the same.
Absolutely correct.
All right. Skylar, I make a motion to approve.
Okay, do I hear a second?
Support.
Call for the vote. Ms. Tisdale?
Aye.
Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Ms. Moore?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you, Daryl, for being here today. Next order of business is a change of duty shirts. The Michigan City Fire Department is requesting to wear the annual Movember shirts as duty shirts from November 1st, 2024 through November 30th, 2024 to support men's health. I do believe Chief's here today. Chief, the floor is yours.
Yeah, so Chief Taylor, Michigan City Fire Department. So the union approached me. Usually, as you know, we do 2 or 3 different shirts throughout the year. Like for the month of October, we'll do for breast cancer, we'll donate the money. Same with this, trying to bring a light to men's health. And it's known as Movember, and I'll just be honest with you, I have no idea where that, it's like No Shave November, but somehow they come up with Movember. So the union approached me, they designed a shirt. I believe you all have the shirt to see. Want to know if they could wear it on duty for the month of November. So I'm here to request on the union's behalf if we could do that. If you have any questions about the shirt, I didn't design it. I didn't come up with this thing, but I will try to answer questions to the best of my ability on the design and any other questions you may have regarding this issue.
Chief, I'm assuming the no shave is hence the mustache under the helmet. So
Yeah, the idea of it is a movement for men not to shave. Although, as far as fire department goes, we gotta tread lightly with that because we still have to be able to wear our masks. But it's to bring awareness to men's health as far as cancer, so on and so forth, and knowing that the fire service is predominantly men, it's means a lot to us to be able to do something like that. So, like I said, it's same with the breast cancer shirts. We'll donate the money to a local individual that if we can find somebody or to an organization. So that's where the proceeds will go.
excellent. Any other questions of Chief Taylor? Board have any questions? Okay, Chief, hearing none, I'll open up for public comment. Any public comment on this?
Do you have a question?
Yeah, hey Skylar, you
Yeah.
got Scott here, 200 Kenwood Place. I certainly support this. My only question is, why does the fire department have to come before us for such mundane things? I would think their uniform is controlled by their union contract.
No, it's it's any uniform change we need to make comes to the Board of Works. They dictate, I guess, what we wear. It's how it's always been since I've been on the job. As far as the contract does not dictate. We have no uniform in there. So being any change we want to make, we have to come to the Board of Works to request that.
I would think the Board of Works look at why we have that oversight, and I think the fire department is able to make uniform decisions on their own, just as public comment. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Taylor, for answering that. Any other questions of the chief or about this petition item?
Yeah, this is Tommy Kolovic, 1316 Ohio Street. I know in the Fire Merit Commission does their biannual evaluation of the chief. One of the areas in the categories we have to ask us is on a scale of 1 to 4, does the Michigan City Fire Chief always wear the correct shirt? So them always wearing the right shirt is always really important to them. That's all I wanted to mention. Thank you.
Any other public comments?
Yeah, I'm going to clarify that.
Oh, yes, please, Chief.
Actually, what it asks is just on appearance. It doesn't say if you're wearing the right uniform. And as far as the chief, in our rules, I actually have discretion as to what we wear on day shift, as far as day shift personnel goes. I mean, obviously, as long as we're in the proper uniform, it doesn't have to be a specific colored shirt or anything like that. But yes, as far as the evaluation, it just speaks of appearance, not whether you're in the right uniform. It's pretty vague, but he is somewhat correct on that, yes.
Thank you, Chief, for clarification. Any other public comments? Anything online? Nope. Any other public comment? Going once, going twice? I'll close public comments. Any other questions of Chief from the board? Or do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve.
Support.
Thank you. I'll call for the vote. Ms. Tisdale,
Aye.
Ms. Smith,
Aye.
Ms. Moore.
Aye.
I vote aye as well. Thank you, Chief, for being here today, and I like the shirt.
Thank you. You all have a good rest of your day.
Next order of business is a memorandum of understanding between the City of Michigan City and the Michigan City Department of Waterworks for the Water Department's contribution toward the salary of the mayor and the Director of Public Works to help defray the city's general fund. I'm not sure. Attorney LePage, can you take this one for us?
Yes, I will. So just let me emphasize, this is not a raise for either one of these positions. It's simply as stated to help defray the general fund. So when putting the budget together and some of the budget difficulties we experienced, what the mayor has done is reached out to the Water Department, Sanitary Redevelopment, and Port Authority to help defray some of the salaries that are directly tied to those departments, as well as this one doesn't consider it, but future ones will consider accounting services. We don't provide it to the water department, but we do provide some kind of accounting services through the controller's office for sanitary redevelopment. So you're going to be seeing those MOUs also coming before this board. And again, the whole purpose is to help our general fund and the health of it. And the water department has already approved this MOU.
Great. This makes sense. I would think that these departments touch the various other boards and provide support for them, so it makes sense to me. Any other comments on this?
Skylar,
Yes, absolutely.
just wanted to note that these MOUs have been in place for years. This is just an increase of what we previously had in place.
Excellent. Thank you for the clarification. Any other questions? Any other comments from the board regarding this MOU? Okay, hearing none, I'll open it up for public comment.
Yeah, this is Tommy Kolavic, 1316 Ohio Street. I know this ain't question and answer says, but who is the director of public works for the Michigan City? I know Mayor Angie talked about creating that when during the campaign during the State of City. I know she networks with a lot of the other mayors, like Mayor Carmel, and she says Mayor Carmel has a director of public works. And I just wonder, knowing Mayor Angie, she'll probably bring in some beautiful woman from other city. I think that just who is that person now?
Any other public comment? Any other public comment? Okay, going once, public comment, going twice, public comment. All right, I'll close public comment. I'll entertain a motion on this. Do I hear a motion or any other questions, any clarifications on this? Tommy, I know that Mayor Angie is looking for a director of public works at this moment. I do believe.
But it's in the 25 budget.
Yeah.
Yes, correct.
She'll announce it at the appropriate time.
Yep, she will announce it once it's done. Do I hear a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Support.
Oh, go ahead. Excellent. I'll call for the vote. Ms. Tisdale?
Aye.
Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Ms. Moore?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you. Our next order of business is road closures for parades. And I do believe Mr. Eric Williams from the special events is here with us today. Eric, you want to tell us a little about, actually, I'll read them and then you kind of fill in the blanks. How about that? The Michigan City Special Events Department is requesting to close roads for the following parades in 2025. St. Patrick's Day Parade on March 15th, 2025 from 10:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Franklin Street, from 10th Street to 4th Street, 9th Street to Pine Street. I'm sorry, 9th Street from Pine Street to Franklin Street, 4th Street from Pine Street to Washington Street, and Pine Street from 9th Street to 8th Street. So that was the St. Patty's Day Parade, St. Patrick's Day Parade. Kitty Parade on June 21st, 2025 from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Franklin Street, from 8th Street to 4th Street, 4th Street from Pine to Washington Street, and 7th Street from Pine to Washington Street. That was the Kitty Parade. Patriotic Parade on June 28th, 2025 from 6:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Franklin Street, from 10th Street to Petunia Parkway. That was the Patriotic Parade. Festival of Lights Parade on December 6th, 2025 from 3:30 p.m. to 7 p.m. on Franklin Street, from 4th Street to 10th Street, 4th Street from Pine Street to Washington Street, 9th Street from Washington Street to Pine Street, and Pine Street from 9th Street to 8th Street. And that's the Festival of Lights Parade. Eric, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Skylar. Eric Williams, Michigan City Special Events. To simplify that a little bit, I'll kind of go parade by parade for you guys. I know that's a lot of streets for a lot of different dates. The St. Patrick's Day Parade, it's March 15th. That is the Saturday before St. Patrick's Day Parade, same weekend that we've traditionally had it. The closures are the exact same thing we did last year, with the exception of requesting a block on Pine Street. The purpose for that is, as the event grows, obviously we need more space for staging, so just adding a block for more staging purposes. The Kitty Parade is the exact same request that we did last year. Same event, same distance, the exact same request. Patriotic Parade is the same as well. Just to clarify that, because that doesn't give all of the details there. Patriotic Parade is also Pine Street from US 12 to 11th Street and 9th Street from Washington Street to Pine Street, but it is the, again, same road closures that we've had for this parade every year. Festival Lights Parade is similar to St. Patrick's Day Parade, same request as this year, just adding another block on Pine Street for more room for staging as the event continues to grow. And then the date for that one is reflective of the conversations from the last meeting and scheduling it according to not being on Small Business Saturday.
Excellent. I'm glad we could accommodate that and make that date change. And thank you for putting together the maps and things of that nature. It was very easy for me to understand when I went through the packet. I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Any questions of Mr. Williams? Board have any questions? Okay, I'll open up for public comments. Any public comment on this subject matter? Any public comment? Okay, I'll close public comments. Do I hear a motion from the board or any other questions of Mr. Williams?
I would just like to say thank you very much for accommodating the small businesses on Franklin Street for Small Business Saturday, and I also motion for approval.
Second.
Hearing a motion in a second, I'll call for the vote. Ms. Tisdale,
Aye.
Ms. Smith,
Aye.
Ms. Moore,
Aye.
chair votes aye as well. Thank you, Mr. Williams, for being here today.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Our next order of business is a request to host horse and carriage rides. Fish Camp 12 on the Lake is requesting to host horse and carriage rides through Washington Park utilizing city streets or City Street for the viewing of the Christmas lights on December 8th, December 15th, December 21st, and December 22nd, 2025 from 4:30 p.m. to 7 p.m. And I do believe they had sent in a request that they couldn't be here in person today, or maybe I don't know if I don't see them online. I did look at this request. I believe we've done it before. I will look to our attorney to see, is everything in order for this?
Everything is in order. Insurance is approved. My only question is, has Park Board approved it yet? Do we know, Will? No, okay, so we'd need to make it subject to Park Board approving it. Okay.
Yes, because technically it's in the parks and through the park, and yes, absolutely.
Also, I would like to amend that to say 2024, please, not 2025.
Got it. I was wondering about that.
I read it out loud and I was like, what?
Yeah, it's okay. I was like, okay. Will, I'm sorry, Will, if you're there, can I put you on the spot? If you don't mind.
He's coming.
A quick question, I promise.
Yes, sir. William Walker, Assistant Superintendent, Parks and Rec.
Thanks, Will, for coming up. I appreciate it. Sorry I'm not there in person.
Nope.
Have they made a request to the park board at this time?
They have not, but we have talked about it in the office, and we're kind of just waiting for the request to come in.
Excellent. Thank you. That's what I needed to know. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Any other questions from the board? Hearing none, I'll open it up for public comment.
Yeah, Tommy Kolovic, 1316 Ohio Street. They did this last year. It's real nice. I know it's in the ordinance that they're going to use a horse for anything. Yeah, you go before the board works unless it's a parade. But I think just go ahead and approve this and just keep on keeping on. Thank you.
Any other
Scott, yep, Scott Mellon, here in Kenwood Place. I also support this. Sounds like a real cute thing to do, and I would encourage your support pending Park District approval. Thank you.
Any other public comment? Okay, going once, going twice. Okay, I'll close public comment. So any motion that we make, let's make sure that we can condition it upon park board approval as well if we should choose to approve this. Do I hear a motion? Actually, I'll make a motion. I motion to approve this subject. I'm motion for approval subject to them going before the park board and receiving approval of the park board as well.
Support.
I'll call for the vote. Ms. Tisdale.
Aye.
Ms. Smith.
Aye.
Ms. Moore.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Okay, our next order of business is an agreement for professional legal services for the benefit of the Michigan City Historic Review Board for 2024. Amber, I'm going to have you start this one out, and then I can kind of jump in if you need me to. Is that okay?
That's fine. So our Historic Review Board does not have an attorney assigned to it. We've had some internal discussions here, and we think it would be best if we had an attorney assigned to it to provide some oversight as to what's transpiring. And we reached out to Steve Hale, who's also doing right now the BZA and the Plan Commission. Steve has agreed for the remainder of this year to provide that service to the board. He'd start next week. And we have $2,000 left in the budget, and he said he would do it for $2,000 for the rest of the year, just flat rate. So I will be coming before this board at the appropriate time for services for 2025 because the Historic Review Board doesn't have authority to issue or enter into any contracts. So this board has to do it. But for purposes of 2024, I think it's very reasonable to have Steve Hale involved and would encourage the board to vote in favor.
Yes. I would also add that the Historic Review Board is underneath zoning from a state level, things of that nature. It makes sense. He's doing the BZ Board of Zoning Appeals, the Planning Commission. It just naturally makes sense for him to, because a historic district is kind of like an overlay zone to some extent. So it makes sense. Any comments from the board? Any comments from the board? Okay, I'll open up for public comments. Any public comment on this subject? Any public comment? Okay, hearing none, I'll close public comment. Do I hear a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Your second?
Support.
I'll call for the vote. Ms. Tisdale.
Aye.
Ms. Smith.
Aye.
Ms. Moore.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you. Thank you, Amber, for presenting that. Our next order of business is our claims docket for October 21st, 2024. Do I hear a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Support.
Call for the vote. Ms. Tisdale.
Aye.
Ms. Smith.
Aye.
Ms. Moore.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you so much. Okay, we'll move on to our unfinished business and pending items. Our first order of business today is a request for barricades. Mark Yagelski of 125 Boyd Circle is requesting barricades at the end of city-owned property on Southwind Drive to stop people from driving back into the woods and illegal dumping. This was tabled from our October 7th, 2024 meeting. And I think it was motion made in 2024 to table and request to refer to refuse and planning. I don't know that I have any additional information to add to it. Unfortunately, haven't been there or seen if it's been cleaned up or things of that nature. I don't know if we have barricades available or that we would like to add them. It is private property from what we can tell. I don't think we've done a look for vacation of the road, and I don't think we found a vacation of road there, but it appears on Beacon that it was vacated or gotten rid of at some point in time. But that's all I really know at this point in time. Any questions of the board or thoughts from the board?
Skylar, did Beacon show, you said that there's private property, correct?
It appears to be private from the standpoint of there isn't a right of way that goes through there. Mr. Warner and I have talked about prescriptive easements is what we call them, where the road exists, but it does dead end into the back of the parking lot where there are bollards that were put in at one point in time. I can't find any history on a vacation. Typically, we can find those because they're typically done through ordinance or through petition through the council, but I haven't been able to locate one. Is that what you needed, Ms. Smith?
No, I just want to know, does the city own the property?
No.
No.
They don't, right? So to what degree will we be liable?
Good question.
To me, I just don't think it's something that we'd be interested in doing right now.
With respect to the barricades, correct? Placing them there.
Correct.
Gotcha.
And I don't even know if we even have them, even if we were to.
Yeah, I don't know that we have a lot of I think we have some deployed right now. So, any other questions or comments regarding this subject matter?
Do we have can the city force the landowner since we don't own it?
He's asking us to put them up on his property for him.
I meant to clean it up, not to put the barricades up, but to clean it up.
Clean up, yes. I think we do have the ability to do that. Yes. It's just like any other private property. If it has dumping on it or trash, or if it was in the back, in front your front lawn or anything else, it would be a code enforcement.
Correct. I mean, and usually what we do is we reach out to the property owner before we would ever try to seek permission to go on private property and clean it up. I mean, we would expect the owner to do it. Correct, Skylar?
Correct. Refuse would probably get involved. Mr. Carter might get involved as well as my code enforcers, or the inspection and code enforcers as well. Any other questions from the board? Good questions. Thoughts? Okay, hearing none. I'll open up for public comment.
Yeah, Tommy Falavic, 1316 Ohio Street. This is like Town Center Drive in front of Lowe's and Myers. This is Mr. Yagelski's private road and his private property and his private land. He buys all these properties off tax sales. That's why you got to do your due diligence, your title search, and get an attorney to get all that clear. But that's his private property. Mr. Yagelski needs to put barricades up or have that road grinded up. Years ago that was an access road for Dunes Plaza. I think they closed that back 30 years ago when Sheila was the mayor. Mayor when he was the mayor of Dunes Plaza, he brought it back to life. But it just needs to be not denied. Mr. Yagelski wants to put up that barricades. He needs to pay to do it himself. He needs to get the junk loaders or somebody coming to clean up that lot. Thank you.
Any other public comment?
Hello, Scott Melancher, Kenwood Place. Yeah, by the sound of it and looking into it, it sounds like this is a private property issue, not a city issue. All due respect to the property owner. I'm sorry for the illegal dumping that's happened on his property, but it's on his property. It seems it's on him to put a gate or barricades of his own and to clean up his own property, and then the city could do a special pickup with a phone call. But I don't think this is a city problem. And nor should we make it our problem, in my opinion. Again, all due respect to Mr. Yagelski, but this is a him problem, not our problem. Thank you.
Any other public comments? Any other public comments? Going once, public comments, going twice. All right, I'll close public comment. At this point in time, it's sounding like we are not interested in doing the barricades. So it sounds like at this point in time, we just need to work. It's already been referred to refuse and planning, so it's probably already in the hands of the code enforcers that need it. Follow up on that. Is there any other thoughts from the board? Any other comments from the board?
Got a motion?
Motion.
Motion to deny.
Second.
Support.
Call for the vote. Ms. Tisdale.
Aye.
Ms. Smith.
Aye.
Ms. Moore.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you. Amber, question. I'm sorry, after this, that motion was basically to deny the barricades, but it's still on our pending.
Correct, just a motion to remove from pending list as well.
That's my question. Does it come
Yeah.
off pending? Okay. Okay, so we need another motion to take it off our pending list.
Correct.
Correct. Okay.
Motion to remove from pending list.
Support.
In a second, I will call for the vote. Ms. Tisdale,
Aye.
Ms. Smith,
Aye.
Ms. Moore.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you. Our next order of business on our pending list is a memorandum of understanding. Tandem Mobility is requesting the approval of an MOU between the City of Michigan City and Tandem Mobility for a bike share program in anticipation to a final bonding contract for the program by December 31st, 2024. This was tabled from our October 7th, 2024 meeting. And I'm going to read you what it says. The motion was made on October 7th to table the request to get input from Skylar York, Director of Planning, and William Walker, Assistant Superintendent of Parks, on the program at the 10/21/24 meeting. So that would be today. Will, I'm going to let you start the presentation, and I can jump in as needed.
All right, William Walker, Assistant Superintendent of Park and Recreation. Sorry, bike share. This company, I like this company for bike share simply because their scheme is greater than just making money off of bikes. With the Marquette Greenway coming through here, this company is looking at putting their bikes along the Greenway, and they're doing a good job of tracking down the cities and placing the bikes in right locations. And along with bikes, they also have this recreation component that goes into Parks and Rec as well, where you can start to rent basketballs, beach chairs, umbrellas, kayaks, and other things as well. I mean, you guys listened to Justin last week. Is there anything specifically that you wanted to ask from what me and Skylar gained over our time talking to these different companies?
If I may add just a little bit of history, we have tried to do Zagster many years ago, and Zagster, I think, has been absorbed into a different company. It may even be Tandem Mobility that owns Zagster now. It was done a few years ago, probably 6 years at this point in time, maybe even longer than that, maybe more like 7 years ago. We had went after Zagster, which Zagster was brand new at that time. Bike share just came on kind of in Chicago, and it went to Valpo and a couple of other places. So we tried to bring it to, we meaning the planning department under the direction of Craig Phillips and myself, tried to bring it to the city. At that time, it was strictly, the redevelopment commission was going to fund it. And it never happened. We had already went through the motion of choosing where the locations were going to be, which you can think of some of them. I think one of it was like the casino, the marina, the outlet mall. The train station didn't exist at that time, but maybe somewhere down south. There was numerous different places that these bikes would be placed. I would also, and at that time, it never got passed. It failed to pass through city council at that time. I would say that maybe it was a little premature at the time. It was brand new. And then since that time, you have a lot of new bike share programs like Lime, scooter programs like Bird. The one thing that we heard loud and clear from council at that time and from other people in the interim between now is that they didn't really like the idea of just bikes sitting out everywhere randomly in our streets or sidewalks and things of that nature. This program's not like that. That's not how Tandem works. It's a point-to-point system. You have to take a bike and put it in. It's more your traditional bike share program where you go to a vending machine, and then you take that bike and you go to another machine and you have to put it in that machine. So it's you can't just leave it randomly on the street. I would also say that Tandem Mobility is not asking us for any money at this time. They're asking us for the ability to go and find money to help us to actually do this program for us. And I don't know if that was expressed last time, but I just wanted to reiterate that they're not asking us for any money at this time, but they do want an assurance that if they go get this money and track it down, and there's numerous healthcare foundations and health foundations that are putting money into active living or active recreation activities, that's where they are looking to seek this money and things of that nature. I'm sorry. William, I hope I didn't speak out of turn. You were more involved in like asking a lot of questions of them prior to me getting involved.
I think you know what they want to hear better than I did. So
I have a question though. I hear you saying that there's no monetary commitment from the city, but you kept saying at this time. Is there a future monetary commitment though later down the road from the city that's anticipated?
So the way the funding is set up for the program, the way they've done it in other cities is they like to get a commitment from the city saying that they'll pay for 20 to 33% of the program. And over time, the program usually with right of revenue, memberships, uses of the program, it takes over the city's commitment to that. But at the same time, we're not asking for that at this point. We're trying to raise money to see if it would pay for the whole program before we even get to that point. And before we get to the point that we would have to pay money, we always got the chance to back out the program. I think the MOU says that we have, can't remember the date right now, but it gives a date where if we don't come to terms by this date, either side can back out of the contract or the MOU.
It says if program funding, city contribution plus sponsorship is not secured by October 31st, 2025, then either party may terminate this MOU with or without cause. That's what you're referring to?
Yeah.
Yeah, so question. Amber, there is no monetary commitment at this time. There's no ask of us at this time. In the future, so say they get money and they come, but they're like, hey, we can do, I'm just throwing out things, 10 bikes, here we go. And it goes over well. We could come in and expand it, or they could go find money and expand it too. It's like that. But we are not committing to any, we were very clear about that. I think when we drafted this.
And if you have questions for the company, Justin is online.
Justin, are you there? Are you sure? Yep, there he is. Hi, Justin.
Hey, how's it going? Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Awesome. Were there any questions geared towards me?
Justin, can you explain kind of your, can you explain the process of securing money or funding for a program to get a startup going?
Awesome. Yeah. So there's a lot of different ways that we've gone about this in the past. I wish I could give you the perfect model for how it works, but in finding money, it's always, it's usually a cocktail combination, like I like to say. So I'll give you a couple examples. We did this in the city of Portland, Maine, several years ago. And the funding came from a large campaign that we put on in partnership with the city. They helped talk to some people. We went and talked to some people. And what ultimately ended up launching the program, this would be much larger than what would happen in Michigan City, was a combination of the State Department of Transportation contributing a lot of money, several $100,000 over 3 years, to start the program in a pilot type sense, a pilot program, right? And then that was matched by a health insurer program. So that is how that program came to be. We have a very similar setup in the city of Wichita. And a number of other communities around it, about 10 other smaller communities. We're actually working on adding an 11th. I had a call about that earlier, Andover, Kansas. And this is actually funded entirely by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Kansas. So those are kind of the ideal scenarios where there's really large funders, be it State Department of Transportation or the cities will contribute sometimes here and there a little bit. Or large health insurers come forward and make these happen. Those are probably the ideal scenarios. A little bit more, a little bit more effort is a program that we're working on right now. We're actually in kind of the final stages of the funding program in Bangor, Maine. And that has been largely funded. I believe it's 60% over 3 years is going to be funded by the State Department of Transportation. And there was a large contribution there as part of a grant request that we filled out with the NPO to make that happen. And there's a number of local foundations that are considering local matches to sort of make that larger state grant happen. And then all of the communities are going to contribute to fill in that local match as time goes on. So kind of a different model each time, but there's probably 4 or 5 different places that we'll look in the private sector. We'll talk to folks at the State Department of Transportation and see what their priorities are for types of things. It's usually very high. It's a sustainable, it's an affordable, and really solid way of supplementing existing transit opportunities. So they usually care in some way, shape, or form. And even if they're not able to contribute the whole cost of the program, they're usually able to put it as part of a funding cycle or CMAQ money or TAP money. We've had a lot of success with TAP money. It was done with carbon reduction money in Bangor. So there's a lot of different ways that we can go about doing it. So that might have been more words than you were looking for, but that's how my process works.
Justin, I've got a question. Your MOU says that the parties anticipate entering into an agreement on or before December 31st of 2024.
Sure.
Is that a typo, the 2024? Should it say 2025?
No, that is not a typo. However, that date could change. That's kind of the end of this year. And the way that we would want to set that up is it's a right to operate agreement. It's a $0 contract. The contract basically says, once we have money, we'll be able to launch bikes on the streets. So that could change to be in 20.
Do you have any sponsorships now?
No, we're waiting on this MOU to really launch that program. That's the point of the MOU here.
Yeah, I don't think he can go get any ask for or request it.
You think you can
Businesses
accomplish
are
that in 2 months?
No, the thing about a right to operate contract is that does not mean that bikes start operating on the street. That means that once money exists, we can operate on the street. We are just signing.
I think you're missing my point, though. Do you need longer than 2 months to try to get sponsorships before us entering into some kind of contract?
I understand what you're saying, but to enter into this contract, there does not need to be guaranteed money in place. It's a right to operate. It doesn't commit you to to be committing any money. I understand what you're saying. The MOU has an expiration date in October of 2025, I believe we pulled up. What I don't think you're understanding is that a right to operate, it just says that once money is there, we can launch it. It does not mean that all of the money needs to be found by the contract being entered into. We are entering into the contract in Bangor right now. We just signed it and they're signing it this week. And only about 60% of the target money has been committed. So we don't need all of it in place to enter into that contract. The MOU gives us confidence to go look for it. It's something we can tell local businesses and regional businesses, statewide businesses for that kind of thing. And then the right to operate essentially just actualizes, okay, once there's money in the coffers, we can put some, we can put it into a program. Does that make sense? Am I explaining that clearly?
How, when you approach people for this funding, how long does it usually take for them to get approval to actually do that? I'm struggling just a little bit with the cycle of, wanting to move forward by the end of the year when people's budgets are set, not set. I'm not really sure I'm clear on that part.
Yes.
Entirely.
What I think you're missing is that the right to operate agreement, this contract, that if it were entered into by the end of the year, it is not contingent on the funding. On our side, on your side, it actually has nothing to do with the funding. It just allows for bikes to operate on the street. And again, if that date is not one that you like, at the end of the year, you want to move it to middle of next year, no problem with that. You can certainly look into February or March or April. It's a flexible timeline. If for some reason you're uncomfortable with that, I have no problem moving it. It's just something that we have to have in place before we're able to launch on the street. It's just something that has to happen. That date can move. As far as when, how long does it take to find the funding? Sometimes it can take a few months. Sometimes it can take a full year. It sort of just depends on the budgetary cycle of the particular institution you're talking to, or the grant cycle, grants that are applied to, and when those come due and how long it takes for them to make a decision. Is there a final round you got to go to? You got to start doing interviews. There's a lot of pieces, parts that go into this, so it's varied, but anywhere from a few months to a year. But like I said, that's not related to the right to operate agreement. The right to operate agreement is a $0 contract. It actually has nothing to do with money. It's just about allowing us to be able to operate on the street. So here's what it's going to look like. Here's how it works. I can send that over as a sample for you to review. In fact, I might have already.
Justin, have you had any preliminary discussions with any potential funders in the region or things of that nature? Curiosity.
I have. Blue Cross Blue Shield, Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield, has had interest in sponsoring, actually particularly ADA accessible bikes. They've had interest in. We talked to them. Obviously, the State Department of Transportation is very high on the list. That's always someone you talk to. I've had a conversation, actually several conversations, two of them, with NIRPC, NIRPC, I believe, is the way you say it. I've talked to them. About them serving as a body to just the way that we're doing in Vancouver right now, as someone who can apply for grants on behalf of the whole program. They need better access to that, and usually a direct ear at the State Department of Transportation. So yes, we've had some preliminary conversations, but they're not real until we've got something to point to, like an MOU.
Justin, can I ask one more question? Are there other communities in our region on the Marquette Trail that are, Marquette Greenway, that are doing this program currently or looking to do this as well?
Absolutely. So actually, today's what? Today, Portage is signing the MOU at their council meeting right now. So that's happening today, or at least it's going to council for a vote and signature. So that's happening at the same time. I'm at your guys' meeting though, so you guys should feel special. I chose you. So that's happening. Also, I'm under the impression that Long Beach, north of you, will do exactly whatever you do. If this is something you want to be a part of, they'll want to have a station connect as well. I've talked to Hobart, which is to the far west of you, kind of the end of this corridor. I'm trying to think about it. See if that's not a conversation. I have to pull up the map, but there are 3 or 4 others that are intent to pursue.
So it's not an anomaly, is my point. There are other communities that are kind of, so it's basically connecting dots along this corridor, the Marquette Greenway, if you will.
Mr. York, Mr. Walker, have either of you, or do you know of anybody that has had any contact with any of the communities that have already engaged this company in this process, like Valparaiso, or have we talked with them?
So yes, I have talked with Valparaiso, and they are very happy with Tandem Mobility and actually looking to expand in the next year. Also, LaPorte uses, LaPorte uses the parent company, the Tandem Mobility, is Movativ. Movatic. And under Movatic is another branch called what's it called? Rent Fund?
Debt fund. Very good. Yes.
Yeah, Rent Fund. And LaPorte operates Rent Fund to do kayak rentals as well as a couple other recreational rentals that they have, and they're very happy with them as well.
Ms. Moore, I've spoke to some representatives. I haven't spoke to any communities. Will has done that, but I have spoke to some people from NERC, and I know that they've been active in trying to get specifically Mitch Barloga. He's kind of the guru of trails for NERC and really the region, and at a state level for Northwest Indiana. And yeah, they spoke highly of them as well because they're trying to find, just like I said, ways to kind of connect dots between communities and provide access for people who either come here and don't have a bike or just don't have a bike in general or need a bike, things of that nature. So yeah, in Northwest Indiana.
Hey, Skylar.
Yeah.
Just one question. Us agreeing to this today is basically just an agreement to say, yes, we're interested in this. You can go out, you can find funding. We are not committing the city dollars in this agreement.
No.
At any point, whether it's December or later, if we do it later, the city can say, we don't have the funding for this. We're not putting our city dollars in. You can go out and find your other funding, other sponsors, and do whatever. We're just giving you permission to go out and explore these options with this agreement today.
Yes, or they come back and say, we have $30,000, we need another 50. We don't have to do that. Does that make sense? I'm sorry, I'm giving you an extreme example.
No, I think that answers the question. We're not committing the city, any city dollars with this signature today. We're basically saying, yes, we are interested in this program. We're interested in exploring this. You now have the ability to go out and tell potential funders, hey, the city is interested in doing this. Are you interested in investing as well?
Correct. Yeah. And I mean, from a standpoint of a foundation or especially a big foundation like Blue Cross Blue Shield, it really can't be pie in the sky. They really have to have something that's secure. They don't want to give money to a non-secured idea, if you will. I mean, we experience that with other programs that we work with, or even grants, things.
Will the funding have to be done every single year?
Will, I'm gonna let you take that one.
Justin, I'm gonna let you take that one.
Okay, yeah, no problem. Since I got no one to kick it to, I guess I'll do it. So yeah, it's a year-over-year cost, and that goes towards hiring a mechanic in your community, like I think we talked about this. To make a program, to curate that program, that's where that goes. It also goes to the software and the insurance, which protects you guys, all of those types of things. So yes, it's a yearly thing. More often than not, we get yearly commitments, several year commitments, that is, from sponsors, as well as some grants are multi-year commitment that we're dealing with in Maine right now. I keep using that example. Blue Cross Blue Shield was a 3-year commitment, which renewed to another 3-year commitment. Harvard Pilgrim in Portland, it was a 3-year commitment. They're getting ready to renew right now for another 3 years there. So I'll take us to 28, I think, in Portland, which is exciting. So yes, it's a yearly cost. However, as time goes on, I think we talked a little bit about the membership program. As we build a membership base, it becomes more and more and more self-sustaining. There are no, in the country, at least that I know of, transit programs, public transit programs that are profitable or cover the cost of themselves with low, the low fares that they need to charge to be able to serve the public the way that they're designed to. The closest that I know of is the New York subway system, which covers about 70% of the cost in fares, but that's really highly used in a huge city. So maybe not a great example for a bike share program in Northwest Indiana. However, with this membership program, we can take off a chunk of that and hopefully remove the burden from the different funders that we've talked about thus far over time.
Justin, if we were to say yes to this, and this contract, or this MOU is only for operation, but it allows you to go get money. once money is secured, I assume there would be another contractual agreement with the city to provide a service at that time, correct?
It's called a master of service agreement. It's that the contract we were talking about earlier. With the December 2024 date, which we could move. I'm happy to change that.
Justin, you keep fading in and out. Can you?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, if you can just keep the phone, like, or I don't know if you're moving it or whatever. Just you keep fading in and out. Just keep.
No, I'm not. It's a computer. I'm relatively close to it. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's something with my connectivity. So let me just try and say that again. That's called the Master of Services Agreement. That is the contract that we talked about, the $0 contract with the due date in December of 24. Which again, that I'm more than happy to change if the committee wants it to be moved.
Okay, so there's another master agreement, if you will, that we will have to negotiate.
And there was a sample of that included in the packet he gave. There was a link to check out, so that is available to us as well.
Any other questions from the board? Will, anything else to add? Sorry, I know you're trying to sit down. See ya.
No, nothing else to add.
Any other questions of the board? Ms. Smith, Ms. Moore, Ms. Antisto? I don't have anything else to add at this time. I will open up for public comment. Any public comment?
Yeah, this is Tommy Kolovic from 1316 Ohio Street. So like Skylar said in the very beginning, we tried doing this 7 years ago when Ron Muir was the mayor. Craig Phillips was the planning director, and it kind of fell by the wayside. First we elected Dwayne Perry the mayor, then we had the pandemic, and just kind of. So this is something that we really. I know Chicago's had the divvy bike ride system for about 15 years now. I know they have the line bikes at the University of Notre Dame for all the students to ride around campus, and I know they have that in Indianapolis. Because I take my when they were young adults, all grown, sound, I have families that are very proud of them, children. They actually had the electric scooters that you rode around, and they like to have that also because, the kids really love those. My one suggestion would be is just maybe have this just between St. Patrick's Day and Halloween, or maybe Thanksgiving, because when those bicycles just sit out in the elements all winter, the batteries get weak and they have mechanical problems. So maybe just think about storing them in the old Chrysler garage building, 11th and Michigan Boulevard. We got the facade for the South Shore Station. Those are my only idea, but this is something we really need should add for a long time. Thank you.
Any other public comments?
Yeah, Skylar. Scott Mellon, 200 Kenwood Place.
What?
Yeah. I appreciate everyone's due diligence on this, but we're really treating this with extreme skepticism. This guy just wants an MOU to explore the possibility if he can get funding to move forward. Again, I appreciate everyone's due diligence, but we're giving this really extreme skepticism. This is an MOU that doesn't hold the city accountable for anything. They need an operating license or this master agreement to move forward. Tommy brought up a couple good points. What happened 7 years ago was then, this is now. Times have changed. It being a seasonal program probably makes a lot of sense. It wouldn't be on us to store the bikes, though. It would be on them to deal with their own property and pay somebody for storage. I have a couple of questions for Justin that if the board would allow, I wouldn't mind answers to. I think we might all like it at the end. But I would remind Justin that the city has severe budget issues and in fact is cutting this budget by millions of dollars for next fiscal year. So I would ask him, what percentage of funding would he hope for from the city? Would he foresee in the future? And I would ask him to plan on not getting any city funding, that our contribution would be allowing them to operate. And if there was city funding, that we enter a revenue sharing agreement where if we're kicking in money, we receive a percentage of the revenue. The other question I had or one other point is this MOU doesn't sound like it holds us to be exclusive to them. So this isn't an exclusive agreement at this time. If Divvy came here and said, hey, we want to drop $1 million of bikes in your neighborhood and this is how we're going to do it, we're not blocked from doing that. Again, this is free enterprise. The Marquette Trail or whatever Greenway is a good thing to encourage. A great location would probably be the new You Are Beautiful location, which planning director is hoping to make kind of a bicycle pit stop on that trail. That might be a good location, for example. So my two questions for Justin is, what percentage of funding would he hope for from the city? And the number of locations, again, I know he went over that before, that he would hope for at the beginning. But I say we approve it. Again, it doesn't hold us to anything. Let's let him see if he can get the funding for this, and let's see if we can move forward. Thank you.
Any other, Justin, before you answer, any other public comment? Justin, I don't like to take questions, but I know that we've spoke about, I think we all have already spoke many times, a few times, and we did speak about like, hey, let's talk about like, hopefully no funding from the city. But I don't know that that might be feasible, but we don't know until we ask. That's really where we're at with that. I think that's the answer, Justin, if I'm not mistaken. I don't want to speak for you, but I think that's the answer. We don't know until we ask. And there may be other opportunities to go find other financing elsewhere, such as NERC, things of that nature. There are grants out there for things like this. If you want to talk about the number of locations, that's something I think you could take on, Justin.
Yeah, great answer, Skylar. Yeah, it's what I would say. So, yeah, it's you don't know until you ask. This is just it's an exploratory thing almost.
Justin, we can't hear you.
Sorry, I don't. Is it working now or no?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, my internet must be weird today. Thank you for bearing with me. Yeah, Skylar, great answer. Definitely what I would have said as an exploratory thing. We don't know until we ask. And obviously the hope is to close that gap completely, to launch this thing as a service to the community without any cost to the community. It would be amazing. It has happened with this precedent. It wouldn't be the first time. But so that's the hope there. As far as number of stations and number of bikes, the hope is we were talking about 8 stations. That being said, if there's only funding for 4 stations, perhaps we would pick what our top priority is. We would launch that in the first year and hopefully develop some momentum. Really good service and community engagement and group rides. It's a thing we're doing now with college students and a number of other different things we can do to engage the community, build momentum, show that it's working, and as a service for locals as well as tourism, and go from there. Expand the funding asked throughout the life of the program.
Yeah, I would also add we still have the original Zagster kind of. We went as far to put together a plan with identifying where those locations would be. Previous conversations Justin and I have spoke about kind of dusting that off and looking to see if they're still valid. I know Blue Chip had even considered having one at their near them or on their site. I think even then back then the outlet mall was on board. I want to say even we had conversations with Nick D to put it behind the original little kiosk or little shelter that they had there. We had talked to them about things like that. So I think it's just a matter of now there's probably even more opportunity down there to do that with the new garage. So I think it's just a matter of dusting that off and trying to figure that out. Justin, we had also spoke about it being seasonal, just given the nature of Northwest Indiana and the lake. That was kind of the idea, the original Zagster plan as well, that it would be, I think, March to November, or as weather permitted. So it's been thought about. Things like that have been thought about because, yeah, you don't want your bikes sitting out in the getting blown sand and snow and everything else in them. So, any other public comments before I close public comments? Any other public comment? Will, I'm going to offer you one more time to speak. Anything to add? Anything else? You good?
I gotta go get my kids before I get charged for more daycare, so I'm not.
You're good. You're good, man. I don't want that. Good job. I'll close public comments at this time. Any other questions of the board that we didn't cover? I just want to reiterate, this does not commit us to any monetary financial commitment at this time. And we still have another few probably steps to do, as well as a master contract if once funding has been found and committed, if you will. Any other comments from the board? Any questions?
I still have a lot of questions as far as how the implementation, et cetera, et cetera. I know this is not the time. I understand that we can go and start the process, which I think is not a bad thing. Some of the dates and things just don't feel quite right to me, and I don't know why, other than it seems like we're hurrying, but maybe that's okay. That's my comment. I don't know.
No.
I'll make a motion for approval.
I'll second.
Yeah, you did?
I'll second it. I'll call for the vote. Ms. Tisdale?
Aye.
Ms. Smith?
Nope.
Ms. Moore?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Okay, moving on. Justin, thank you for being here today. We really appreciate your time. Will, thank you for your time.
Thanks for having me.
Skylar, do we need a motion to remove that from the table then?
Yes, please.
And then you'll bring back this master contract at some point?
Absolutely.
Okay.
We're just gonna allow Justin to hopefully make some magic happen. Go find us the money to fund this whole thing, Justin.
Is there a motion by anybody?
Motion to remove from the pending items list.
For a
Support.
second. I'll call for the vote. Mr. Tisdale?
Aye.
Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Ms. Moore?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Okay, to remove. All right, our next order of business is a pending items list is Councilman Don Prespolinski request the inventory of all snow route signage and to seek new informative.
That's not on, that's for next month.
Sorry. I'm reading wrong. Apologize.
So the next one is the CSX closure.
Yes, CSX. Yes, give me 1 second. Sorry about that.
No, I'm sorry. That's not until November. It's
Nope.
the Festival of Lights.
Yep. And it sounds like we have taken care of that one with the.
No, that was for 2025, not 2024.
Oh, okay. So our road closure for parade, the Michigan City Special Events Department is requesting street closure for the Festival of Lights parade on November 30th, 2024 from 3:30 p.m. to 7 p.m. Closure of Franklin Street from 4th Street to 10th Street. Closure of 4th Street from Pine Street to Washington Street. Closure of 9th Street from Washington Street to Pine Street. All streets will be reopened after deemed safe by the Michigan City Police Department. This was tabled from our October 7th, 2024 meeting. Mr. Greetham, you're here to speak about this. The floor is yours.
Yes, Terry Greetham, Michigan City Special Events. After talking with the business owners that were here at the last meeting, as well as some of the other business owners, it was kind of a mix. Some people really weren't concerned with the date, but the fact that there are some businesses concerned with November 30th. And I also spoke with Corporal Brian Wright from Michigan City Police Department. He has no issue with moving the parade back a week. So we'd like to amend our request. Michigan City Special Events Department is requesting street closure for the Festival of Lights parade on December 7th, 2024 from 3:30 p.m. to 7 p.m. The closure of the streets remains the same.
Excellent. Thank you for working with the business owners and being respectful of that. Appreciate that. Any questions of Mr. Greetham from the board? Questions from the board? Okay. Hearing none, I'll open up for public comment. Any public comment?
Yes, Tommy Kolovic, 1316 Ohio Street. I want to express my gratitude for everybody listening to my complaints about this damaged utility pole that was on Ohio Street. Utility finally came and took it out, and they moved the utility lines onto another pole, but there's still a great big dead tree that fell into the utility lines that are on Ohio Street. It's just a little bit south of where Macedonian Church that Mayor Angie attends. It's been laying in the utility lines ever since we had that big windstorm in October. It's not good to have utility big trees laying. I had talked to Mr. Wolf about that. He said he can't cut it out because he can't do anything 10 feet less than the power lines. He's right about it. It's in our ordinance. And we called NIPSCO about it. NIPSCO won't do it. It's not their utility lines. Whatever the utility lines are laying in, they're the ones that got to cut out. These utility lines are impossible to do. They're just as bad as the railroad. I still say they don't care about us. They just care about all the neighborhoods where all the rich people live, not in Michigan City. But I also want to say thank you to Councilman Mayor Angie and Councilwoman Tracy Tillman, because this is their word. Cablin's going to open up a little hardware store there in the Dunes, at Eastgate Plaza, right there in the Eastport neighborhood on Michigan Boulevard. I had the house on Tyrant Street. I had to go and rehab it after my new snooze out. It was a major pain in the butt to have to always travel to the opposite end of the city to buy something to fix up the house. I'm glad they're going in there. Thank you.
Thank you, Tommy. Is there any public comments regarding Michigan City special events?
No.
You're okay, Tom.
My plug, I can go now.
You're okay, Tom.
Yeah, Skylar, Scott Melantur, Kenwood Place. I want to thank the special events coordinator for moving the date. I think it's important that we not affect the small businesses on Franklin. They've suffered with other events that have really, as they've testified, hurt their business. So I appreciate that everybody's flexible, and I believe you should approve this. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comments? Is there anything online? I don't think anyone's on right now. Okay, yeah, we're good. Hearing none, I'll close public comments. Any questions of the board, or do I hear a motion to approve?
I have a comment. I'm really surprised you were able to move this on such short notice. I really appreciate that. Thank you for listening.
Agree. I agree with that. Thank you so much.
Motion to approve. Oh,
Nope. Motion to, do I hear a motion?
motion to approve the road closures for the Festival of Lights Parade and move it to December 7th from 3:30 to 7.
Support.
Hearing a second, I'll call for the vote. Ms. Tisdale.
Aye.
Ms. Smith.
Aye.
Ms. Moore.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you all.
Are you going to motion to remove this from your pending items list?
Yes, please. Could we have another motion to remove this from our pending items list?
Motion to remove.
Support.
Call for the vote. Ms. Tisdale.
Aye.
Ms. Smith.
Aye.
Ms. Moore.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you. Next order of business is public comment. Tommy has already made his. Any other public comment for tonight?
Yes, Skylar, Scott Melantur, Kenwood Place. Not much today, but I can't help but hear my voice. No, a shout out for Terry Grantham and the special events. They do a great job, and I think it's really great. Our little city is doing so many things. It's really encouraging to hear all these things. And I think a real shout out to those guys. They do a great job organizing everything. I think it's also great that their various departments cooperate to make these things happen. So, yay, Michigan City. Go Wolves. That was for Tommy.
Any other public comments? I don't know if is Mr. Albers in the audience? I can't see the audience. I apologize. Dave?
Yes, he is.
Thank you. Dave, for the public good, I know you were on the last meeting, but we have the road closure. Could you just kind of go through what Flaherty's doing there and kind of give us a rundown on that? I think it would be helpful just for public to understand.
Yeah, so David Albers, project manager for Flaherty and Council. What we did was we shifted up the utility work that had to happen in Franklin Street to align with the work that was going on with Reith Riley with some of the changes to the curbs work. So that's what's going on. We're doing all of the utility tie-ins for the mains, several of which go into the middle of Franklin Street. So basically the safest way to do that was to shut it down in its entirety. that also assisted Reith Riley in getting their work done in that 900 block of Franklin Street as well. So we are set to be wrapped by Wednesday and hopefully be able to open Franklin back up at that time.
Thank you so much, Dave. Any questions of Mr. Albers from the board? Okay, I really appreciate you doing that, David. I know you came last time, but it's a lot had changed in that short time frame. So I really appreciate you being here today. Thank you.
No problem.
Any other public comments at this time? Okay, hearing none, I'll go to board comments. Any board comments? Ms. Tisdale? Ms. Smith?
Motion to adjourn.
Can I make one announcement?
Oh, go ahead.
I would like to remind everyone in the general public that our businesses downtown on Franklin Street in those in that 800 block and in the 900 block, they are open for business. Our streets are tore up, but please go to those businesses. Please, they could use your support. We're going to try to be out of there as quickly as we possibly can. But tell your friends, tell your visitors, your people from out of town, they are open and there is parking available on the side streets, and that they're available. They're open for business. So please make sure we're keeping them in our making sure we're eating and going down there and buying things from them. I appreciate it, and they appreciate it. Other than that, that's it. Thank you. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All right, motion approved. I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.